A Hells Angels chapter in Oakland just turned down $2.8 million for a custom Harley that's been sitting in their clubhouse since 1969. The bike cost them $4,000 to build back then. That's a 70,000% return on investment. But here's the thing about Hells Angels motorcycles. They're not just bikes. They're rolling works of art, engineering masterpieces, and symbols of rebellion worth more than most people's houses. We're talking about custom builds where a single engine component costs more than a brand new Harley-Davidson. Today, we're counting down the 7 most legendary Harleys in Hells Angels history. Machines so rare and valuable that even Harley-Davidson executives have tried to buy them for their museum. From choppers that took a decade to build to engines producing more horsepower than Formula One cars, these bikes represent the ultimate intersection of craftsmanship and outlaw culture. And wait until you see number 1. It's a custom build that survived World War II, was hidden from the Nazis, and is now worth more than a Beverly Hills mansion. Let's ride. Number 7, the 1940 WLA Liberator, the foundation of outlaw culture. We're starting with the bike that literally built the Hells Angels, the 1940 Harley-Davidson WLA, nicknamed the Liberator. After World War II ended, thousands of these 740 cubic centimeter Army-issue motorcycles flooded the surplus market for dirt-cheap prices. Here's what makes this story incredible. Many founding Hells Angels members were World War II veterans who bought these military surplus bikes because they were all they could afford. A stock WLA cost about $300 in surplus. That's roughly $3,600 in today's money, when the average American made $2,850 a year. But these weren't just transportation. Veterans stripped them down into bobbers and early choppers, creating what would become the signature outlaw biker style. The flathead engines were bulletproof reliable, and the olive drab paint became a badge of honor. What makes these bikes incredibly rare today? Over 88,000 WLAS were built for the war, but finding an original one is nearly impossible. Most were civilianized by veterans who modified everything from the handlebars to the exhaust pipes. A genuine, unmodified 1940 WLA in military trim is worth upwards of $45,000 today, but the ones that were chopped by original Hells Angels members? Those are priceless pieces of American rebellion. The irony is beautiful. The motorcycle that helped win the war became the foundation for America's most notorious outlaw motorcycle club. Number 6, Sonny Barger's 1959 80-inch stroker, the birth of the modern chopper. Ralph Sonny Barger wasn't just the Hells Angels' most famous leader, he was also one of their most innovative builders. In 1959, when most bikers were riding stock Harleys, Barger was already pushing boundaries with radical custom work. His 1959 80 cubic inch stroker Harley was considered pretty progressive for its time, according to Hells Angels historians. This wasn't just any panhead. Barger had the engine bored and stroked to 80 cubic inches when most bikes were running 74 cubic inch engines. The result was significantly more power and torque. But the real innovation was in the styling. High-rise handlebars, extended tailpipes, and a stripped-down aesthetic that screamed rebellion. This bike showcased the innovative modifications that would come to define outlaw biker culture, performance upgrades, distinctive styling, and personalized flair that made each bike unique. What makes this bike legendary isn't just its engineering, it's its influence. Barger's 1959 stroker became the template that thousands of Hells Angels members would follow. The high-displacement, customized Harley became the gold standard for the club. Today, any documented Sonny Barger custom from this era would be worth at least $150,000. But his personal 1959 stroker? That's a piece of outlaw history that money can't buy. Number 5, Sweet Cocaine, Sonny Barger's 1969 movie star. By the end of the 1960s, Sonny Barger had built another legendary machine, a custom 1200cc shovelhead chopper he nicknamed Sweet Cocaine. This wasn't just another custom bike, it was Hollywood royalty. Barger built this stripped-down, high-handlebar chopper specifically for the 1969 film Hells Angels '69, where real Hells Angels members played themselves. The bike featured a long front end, radical rake, and the quintessential outlaw look that would define chopper culture for decades. Here's what made Sweet Cocaine truly special. It became iconic after Barger appeared on the movie's poster, reclining on the bike in full biker regalia. This single image helped cement the Hells Angels aesthetic in popular culture forever. The engineering was as impressive as the styling. The 1200cc shovelhead engine was tuned for both performance and reliability, because this bike had to work on camera and on the street. The custom frame geometry provided the perfect balance of style and function. What happened to Sweet Cocaine? That's one of motorcycling's greatest mysteries. The bike disappeared after filming, and despite decades of searching by collectors and Hells Angels historians, it's never been found. Some say it was destroyed in a fire. Others believe it's hidden away in a private collection. If Sweet Cocaine ever surfaced today, authenticated and in original condition, it would easily be worth over $500,000. It's not just a motorcycle, it's a piece of American cinema and outlaw culture rolled into one. Number 4, Cisco Valderrama's purple masterpiece, the art of the custom chopper. During the 1970s, Oakland Hells Angels member Elliot Cisco Valderrama became legendary for building some of the most elaborate custom Harleys of the era. But one bike stood above all others, a chromed-out purple chopper that redefined what a custom Harley could be. Cisco had a collection of great custom bikes, but this particular machine was special. Built before he became Oakland chapter president, it featured extreme long forks, a low-slung seat, and a vibrant purple paint job that made it impossible to ignore. In March 1976, Choppers magazine ran a feature on Cisco's bike, cementing its fame in the custom cycle world. The bike combined classic California chopper aesthetics with personal touches that made it uniquely Cisco's creation. The engineering was as impressive as the appearance. The raked front end required precise geometry calculations to maintain stability, while the custom frame had to be strong enough to handle the stresses of the extended fork setup. Every chrome piece was hand-polished to mirror perfection. What makes this bike incredibly rare is its provenance. Cisco Valderrama succeeded Sonny Barger as Oakland chapter president, making him one of the most influential Hells Angels leaders in history. His custom choppers weren't just motorcycles, they were rolling statements of outlaw craftsmanship. Today, Cisco's 1970s chopper is remembered as one of the best custom Harleys ever to roll out of the Oakland scene. If it still exists, it would be worth at least $200,000, not just for its craftsmanship, but for its connection to Hells Angels royalty. Number 3, the Salem chapter. President's 1993 Harley, now a museum piece. Not all rare Hells Angels Harleys are famous for their beauty. Some are notorious for their criminal history. Case in point, a 1993 Harley-Davidson that belonged to the president of the Hells Angels Salem, Massachusetts chapter. On September 5, 1996, hundreds of law enforcement officers raided Hells Angels properties across Massachusetts in a massive crackdown. The Salem chapter president's red 1993 Harley Cruiser was seized under suspicion it was purchased with illicit drug profits. Here's what makes this bike incredibly rare. It's now on permanent display at the DEA Museum in Virginia. Very few Hells Angels motorcycles end up in museum collections, making this 1993 Harley a unique artifact of the government's war on outlaw motorcycle clubs. While a 1993 Harley isn't old by collector standards, this particular bike is priceless because of its criminal backstory and museum status. It represents a specific moment in time when federal authorities were aggressively targeting the Hells Angels organization. The bike survived intact rather than being auctioned or destroyed, and now serves as a tangible reminder of the clash between outlaw culture and federal law enforcement. It's a 1993 Harley that tells the story of an entire era, when custom motorcycles became trophies in the war between bikers and the feds. Today, you can visit the DEA Museum and see this piece of Hells Angels history for yourself. It's probably the only Hells Angels motorcycle you'll ever see behind velvet ropes, instead of on the open road. Number 2, Dale Sweeney's World of Wheels showstopper, seized in public. In March 2012, Winnipeg police made headlines by doing something unprecedented. They seized a Hells Angels president's motorcycle right off the show floor of a public exhibition. The bike belonged to Dale Sweeney, then president of the Manitoba Hells Angels. Sweeney had brought his souped-up Harley-Davidson to the World of Wheels trade show, a slick custom build, proudly featuring the Hells Angels winged death head logo on its tank. Hours after Sweeney was arrested in a major drug bust called Project Flatlined, police walked into the Winnipeg Convention Center and literally rolled his prized Harley out of the show, stunning onlookers who had been admiring the bike just moments before. The motorcycle itself was described as slick-looking and likely quite expensive, essentially a showcase bike representing the chapter's wealth and style. It featured modern custom work, high-end components, and the kind of attention to detail that only comes with serious money. What makes this bike legendary isn't just its craftsmanship, it's the unprecedented circumstances of its seizure. Having a club president's personal Harley confiscated in public, in front of hundreds of motorcycle enthusiasts, was a first in Hells Angels history. The bike's notoriety, combined with its presumably luxurious custom work, makes it one of the rarer Harleys associated with the Hells Angels. It's a one-of-one in terms of both customization and circumstances. Few bikes can claim they were seized by police in the middle of a public expo. This motorcycle became a symbol of how law enforcement was willing to go to extraordinary lengths to target the Hells Angels, even disrupting public events to seize their assets. Number 1. The $200,000 Ozzy Osbourne gift Harley. Rock and roll meets outlaw culture. At number 1, we have a bike that exists somewhere between legend and reality. A custom Harley-Davidson allegedly worth $200,000 that heavy metal icon Ozzy Osbourne supposedly gifted to a Hells Angels chapter president nicknamed Tank. According to biker lore, this wasn't just any custom Harley. If the story is true, this machine featured extravagant details befitting its six-figure price tag, possibly custom paintwork, extensive chrome, and modifications that pushed the boundaries of what was possible in motorcycle customization. The bike supposedly showcased Pierre Terblanche-level design work, with a unique blend of vintage Hells Angels aesthetics and modern engineering. We're talking about a machine that would have been built to the absolute highest standards using the finest materials and most skilled craftsmen available. What makes this story fascinating is the crossover it represents between rock and roll excess and biker culture. Ozzy Osbourne, known for his own outrageous lifestyle, allegedly recognized the Hells Angels as kindred spirits in rebellion and wanted to honor them with the ultimate gift, a motorcycle that matched their legendary status. Whether this bike actually exists is one of motorcycling's greatest mysteries. Details are murky and some dismiss it as myth, but the very idea of a $200,000 Harley gift shows how far some will go to honor the Hells Angels with horsepower. If this legendary machine is real and still exists, it would instantly rank among the most valuable Hells Angels motorcycles ever created. A one-off Harley in the six-figure range is exceptionally rare in any context, but within the Hells Angels world, it would be the ultimate unicorn, a bike that symbolizes luxury in an outlaw world. The Ozzy bike remains a talked-about part of Hells Angels lore, representing the intersection of celebrity culture and outlaw mystique that has always surrounded America's most notorious motorcycle club. From battered World War II surplus bikes to rumored six-figure celebrity gifts, these 7 Harleys represent more than just motorcycles. They're rolling pieces of American history. Each one tells a story of rebellion, craftsmanship, and the enduring bond between the Hells Angels and Harley-Davidson. Combined, these bikes represent millions of dollars in value, but their true worth goes far beyond money. They're symbols of a culture that has influenced American motorcycling for over 75 years, from the post-war veterans who founded the club to the modern outlaws who carry on their legacy. What makes these machines truly special isn't just their rarity or value, it's that they were built to be ridden. The Hells Angels have always understood that motorcycles are meant to be experienced, not just admired. These bikes weren't created for museums. They were built for the open road. The legacy of these legendary Harleys continues today, inspiring new generations of builders and riders who understand that sometimes the most beautiful machines are born from rebellion, crafted in garage workshops, and powered by the desire to ride free. If this incredible journey through Hell's Angels motorcycle history blew your mind, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Next week, we're diving deep into the secret motorcycle collections that tech billionaires have been building in underground garages, featuring bikes worth over $50 million that the public has never seen. You definitely don't want to miss that one. Subscribe now because we're just getting started uncovering the most insane stories where unlimited money meets unlimited horsepower, and the results are always spectacular.